Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Michael and I'm the author of The Lost Company. I want to jump on here and talk a little bit about my journey because I'm 6 months in as a published author. I'd done a video 5 months ago talking about what it was like the first month after being an author, and I did say I'd drop in at the 6 month mark to kind of share my reflections after that. So you'll catch the link to the video of my first 30 days as an author below, but I'll just quickly recap and say that I had a really good pre-sale. I had over 100 pre-sale orders, and there was a small amount of, not regret, but if I was to do it again, I wouldn't have done the pre-sale. Pre-sale numbers don't go towards your rankings on the bestseller list, and so I think with the 100 sales within the first few days of release, if I'd have done something differently, maybe like set up a newsletter or just had everyone aware and go and buy the book around that time, as opposed to doing a pre-sale, then I would have had a better ranking on the bestseller list, and then that again generates sales because people who look at those things to select the book see your book there. So that was one of the things. But yeah, the first 80 days were great, the pre-sales were good, and then the following month I had really good Kindle Unlimited page reads, and I had more sales as Amazon was pushing the book more. I'd done some good marketing, got into some good groups, author groups where I could push the book further. So it was a really good first 30 days, and if you want more information, go check that video out. But what's happened since? Well, quite a lot, actually. So I suppose I'll go over quickly the highlights of what happened since then. So I was able to kind of continue to push the book, and for I would say about 90 days afterwards, the Kindle Unlimited page reads were being pretty consistent. I was getting regular sales. I'd done a small sale for about 5-6 days, and that generated more sales. I had about 10-12 sales, and I'd done a load of self-marketing, and that went really well. And I managed to sell probably another 50 books, more or less, during that time, which I was over the moon with, really pleased with. So, and then another highlight was one of the kind of marketing tactics that I'd seen put about was to kind of get into some reader groups, some author groups, and share your book. Not in like a, marketing, ram it down people's throats sort of way, but in the sense of go to places where you're a fan of the book. So for instance, I was already a member of the David Gemmell fan group on Facebook, and there was an opportunity to come up where people were like, if there's any authors in the group, please feel free to share your book. So I took that with both arms and put my book in there and generated a few more sales in there. And then what come from that, which was probably the highlight of publishing for me, was several of the people in the group had read my book. And then when it come round to the 19th anniversary of David Gemmell's death, we done like a fan event where we done a big giveaway, and my book was suggested as one of the raffle prizes for the giveaway. And that was just a huge honour because David Gemmell's my inspiration, my book's dedicated to him, and so that was just an incredible honour to take part in that. And the person who read the book was also given a really good review. So that was a huge positive. I want to share some of the kind of reflections of what sort of happens with your book during that first 6 month period. So launch is always really good. Amazon give you a big push when you first come out. Again, through a more lessons learned process, I wouldn't go set up with Ingram Spark straight away. I've had maybe 3 or 4 books bought through retailers, so like Waterstones, Barnes and Noble, and others. That's happened maybe 3 or 4 times, and that's where Ingram Spark will kind of send the wholesalers your book, but it hasn't happened often enough for me to justify doing that. The reason I done it was because you can pre-sale paperbacks with Ingram Spark, and you couldn't do that through Amazon at the time, and I don't think you still can. But in hindsight, I wish I'd have just waited, and just, if people wanted to buy the paperback, they can just buy it when the book's available and not pre-order it. So that was one of the things that I wish I hadn't done that. And the reason is just because, as I say, I haven't had a huge amount of sales through wholesalers, which I was hoping for, like bookstores picking up my book and I'm storing them on the shelves, or having like in their back room for people to order through there. That just hasn't picked up like I'd wish. So I wish all my sales had been through Amazon in that case, where at least then I can kind of track the sales all in one place. Another thing is, the first 30 days, 90 days, whatever, when your book first comes out, Amazon does a lot of work to push it. A lot of work. It appears as like a suggested people who've bought this also like this, that sort of thing. They really push new authors. After 90 days, that all stops, like completely. I think in the last 2 or 3 months, I've had probably in total 100 Kindle Unlimited reads. They're just not showing people the book at all. The reason being is that they want you then, after those first 90 days, they want you to start paying for ads. So those things, what they used to do for you, where they'd say, people who've bought this book might also enjoy this book, and your book will appear there. They just stopped doing that altogether. And so if you want that to continue, and you want to continue getting those like sales in the background and Kindle Unlimited reads, then you need to you need to pay them. That's just the way it is. During that time as well, I did sort of slack on my own marketing. For those who follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I was doing a writing challenge, 100 days of writing. I managed to write 60,000 words of the sequel to The Lost Company. So I'm well into that book now, right on track for it to be published in spring 2026. So I'm really looking forward to that. But that did affect how I marketed the book, because I just didn't have the time. All my spare hours were writing. And other than just saying, buy my book, you need to kind of plan out a marketing strategy and be consistent with it, and I just didn't have the time. So that's also seen a hit in sales. But there is good news. So I did find some new ways to market the book, some affordable ways to really get it out there. And I won't go into that too much here, because one, it was outside the 6-month mark. So this new tactic that I tried, I done at the end of this month. So I done it from the 22nd to the 28th of October. The 6-month birthday was technically the 12th, I think, of October. So it's not technically inside the first 6 months, but don't worry, I will do a full video on it, because there's a ton of information that I'd like to give you. Really cool marketing strategy, one that I knew about and I'd looked at before and considered, but didn't have much hope for, and now kind of got a little bit of regret of why didn't I go ahead and do that. But I'll give you more information about that in my next video. Don't worry, it won't be like months and months like since my last video was. I'll do something real soon. But I just wanted to share that there has been some good news recently, and I'm hoping that continues. So first 6 months, I mean, I couldn't be more pleased with how it's gone. I'm not a bestseller yet, unfortunately, but the reviews have just continued to clock up. I've got 44 reviews across Goodreads and Amazon. I know some people who reviewed them will review on both, but not everybody does. So I don't know how many like kind of individual reviews there are, but the scores are being really consistent. I think it's 4.5 on Amazon, 4.5 on Goodreads and 4.8 on Amazon. So super pleased with those scores. Hoping with more recent sales, as I say, I've had some success at the end of this month, that there'll be some more reviews coming in, and that'll be great for the book overall. But yeah, it's just been a great 6 months, and I'm really excited to kind of take everything I've learned from this release and put it towards the next book, where I'm hoping to have even more success. And yeah, everyone says as well, like, there's no better marketing you can do than releasing the next book. So I'll be interested to see how, as we're building up to the next book's release, the effect it has on the first book. And as well, a lot of the marketing strategy you do. So as I'm advertising for one book, people then look at your back catalogue and go, oh, they've got something else here. And that does tend to like kind of generate the sales that way as well. So really exciting times ahead. Hopefully some of this information was kind of interesting to you, helpful. As I say, I think the main points from this is just reiterating that the pre-sale probably didn't work for me as well as I hoped, and I would probably rethink that. And then on the flip side, yeah, just be aware that Amazon do stop pushing your book after 90 days. Your sales will drop unless you kind of have something in place, whether that's paid advertisement, whether that's like a really consistent marketing strategy, whether you've got a really good following on social media where you can kind of continue to push your book via other ways. Whatever way you kind of choose to do that, yeah, just be aware of those things. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. That's all I've got for today. Hopefully that's been interesting, and I'll catch you again soon.